Hello and welcome to Workers Comp Unwrapped, the podcast that simplifies workers' compensation for physicians. I'm your host, Max, here to give you clear, actionable insights to navigate the medical legal side of workers' comp. So let's get started. Welcome back to Season 2, Episode 5 of Workers Comp Unwrapped. With me today is Aisha. Aisha has 15 years of experience in the workers' comp industry.
It's great to be here.
And today, we're talking about the correct procedures for withdrawing a lien and how to avoid potential financial risks.
Yeah.
This is especially important
You're absolutely right.
for all of you medical providers out there in California.
Knowing the ins and outs of lien withdrawals
Mishandling lien
can
withdrawals
absolutely be the difference
can lead to major financial headaches
between maximizing your revenue
and even legal issues.
and leaving money on the table.
So we're here to help you navigate this,
Yeah.
often overlooked, but crucial process. Okay, so let's break this down. First things first. For anyone who might be new to this, can you explain what a lien actually is
Absolutely.
in the world of workers' comp?
In simple terms, a lien is a legal claim that you, as a medical provider, can file against a workers' comp case. It's essentially a way to guarantee you get paid for treating injured workers, especially when insurance companies or employers are dragging their feet on payments. Think of it as a safety net.
So it's like putting a temporary hold
The medical provider.
on the case's funds, ensuring you get what you're owed
That's a great way to put it.
for providing treatment.
It helps level the playing field and ensures that providers, who are essential in helping injured workers get back on their feet, aren't left shouldering the financial burden.
That makes complete sense. But here's the thing. That's always puzzled me. Why would a provider ever need to withdraw a lien
That's a really good question.
if it's there to protect them?
And it gets to the heart of why
Shouldn't they just keep it in place
understanding this process is so important.
until the case is fully resolved?
While liens are designed to protect providers, there are actually several situations where withdrawing one might be the best course of action.
Okay. I'm intrigued.
Sometimes it's a strategic decision,
Let's dive into those scenarios.
and other times,
When would withdrawing a lien
you might not have a choice.
be the smarter move,
Ah.
strategically speaking?
Well, the most straightforward reason is if you've received full payment for your services. In that case,
That's logical.
the lien has served its purpose,
Get your money.
and withdrawing it signals a clean break.
Withdraw the lien. Everyone moves on.
Exactly. But sometimes it's more nuanced. There are cases where pursuing the lien further might actually end up costing you more than it's worth.
So it's a cost-benefit analysis,
Think about potential legal fees,
weighing the potential gain against the effort
administrative costs,
and resources required.
and the time you or your staff spend chasing down payments sometimes. Cutting your losses and withdrawing the lien is simply the more financially sound decision. And
Which
sometimes
is not always a choice,
external factors come into play.
driven by your practice's strategy.
A court might order a lien to be withdrawn.
Sometimes the system itself dictates the move.
Or there might be specific regulations that require it under certain circumstances. And let's not forget settlements.
Right.
When a workers' comp case is settled, part of the agreement often involves withdrawing
It's like tying up loose ends
any existing liens.
to ensure a smooth and conclusive settlement.
It helps to simplify the resolution process for everyone involved.
And one final,
That's a really interesting point.
and sometimes overlooked,
So it's not always just about the money.
reason is that withdrawing a lien
Sometimes it's about the bigger picture
can be a strategic way to avoid a potential lawsuit.
and managing those relationships effectively.
It can be the less adversarial path, helping to preserve relationships with insurance companies and employers, and prevent things from getting messy and complicated.
Absolutely.
And I can't stress this enough, mishandling lien withdrawals
Okay, Aisha, you've definitely painted a picture.
can have serious consequences of why this is so important for our listeners.
We're talking potential financial losses,
And now for those who are hanging on your every word,
legal risks,
let's break it down step by step.
and even damage to your practice's reputation.
What are the essential steps
It's not something to take lightly.
to withdraw a lien correctly
Yeah.
and avoid those potential pitfalls you mentioned?
All right, so let's walk through it. The first crucial step
Okay, what exactly should providers be looking for
is to thoroughly review
when they're doing this initial review?
the entire lien case file. You want to make absolutely sure you have all your ducks in a row.
So it's like laying the groundwork.
This means confirming details like
For a successful withdrawal,
the total treatment costs,
making sure everything is accurate and accounted for.
payment history,
No room for sloppiness here.
any correspondence with the insurer or employer, and ensuring all supporting documents are organized and readily accessible. That includes things like medical records, bills, and any other relevant documentation. And of course, double check if the lien amount has been paid, whether partially or in full. This step is all about being thorough
So it's a strategic pause.
and minimizing the chance of errors later down the line.
A moment to analyze the situation and make sure withdrawing aligns with your
Once you've done that comprehensive review,
overall financial goals.
the next step is to confirm that withdrawing the lien is truly the best move for your practice. You need to consider if the payment has been settled in a way you're comfortable with, or if pursuing the lien further with all the associated costs and effort is really worth it in the long run. And if you decide to move forward, step 3 involves filling out the official lien withdrawal form from the California Division of Workers' Compensation.
Yes, the infamous DWC forms. I can already hear those groans
I know.
from our listeners.
Paperwork can be a bit of a headache, but trust me,
It's like a high-stakes game.
accuracy is crucial here.
Fill in the blanks. One wrong answer,
Make sure every single detail on that form
and you're back to square one.
is correct and matches your records perfectly. Any discrepancies can lead to delays or even rejection of your withdrawal request. Once that form
So-
is meticulously completed,
Once that form is meticulously completed,
the next step is filing it correctly
the next step is filing it correctly.
with the appropriate Workers' Compensation Appeals Board office.
Now, I imagine this is where some providers might get tripped up.
That's a great question.
How do they know which WCAB office to file with?
The correct WCAB office is determined by the location where the original injury occurred.
So again, attention to detail is key here.
You can find this information
Getting the right form to the right place in the right way.
on the DWC website or by contacting the WCAB directly. And as with the form itself, make sure you follow all the specified filing procedures to a T. And don't think you're done once that form is filed. Step 5 is all about communication.
Okay, so who
Okay.
exactly
Need to
be in the loop here?
everyone involved in the case
Yeah.
about the lien withdrawal.
So it's like sending up a signal flare,
We're talking the injured worker.
making sure everyone is aware of the change in status
The attorney,
and there are no surprises down the line.
the employer, and the insurance company. Transparency is key. Make sure you keep a record of these notifications, whether it's through certified mail, email, or any other documented method.
So it's like building a fortress of documentation
This protects you
to protect yourself from any potential challenges.
if any dispute
I
or
see.
questions arise later on. And the final, but equally important,
I can see how those 6 steps create
this documentation.
a clear and systematic process.
Meticulously keep records
But even with the best intentions,
of the entire lien withdrawal process.
mistakes can happen.
From the initial review
What are some common pitfalls
all the way to those final
a
notifications.
provider should be aware of?
This documentation serves as your safety net if any questions, discrepancies,
What's a costly mistake?
or disputes arise.
It highlights how
You
important
could have all the evidence you need
that thorough initial review is.
to support your actions. It might seem like overkill,
So it's not just about filling out the form.
but trust me,
It's about understanding the rules of the game
in the complex world of workers' comp,
and playing by them.
having that detailed paper trail can be a lifesaver.
And remember, communication is key. Failing to keep everyone informed
One of the most common mistakes
can damage relationships with insurers,
is accidentally withdrawing a lien for confirming
and even the injured worker's legal representation.
you've received the full payment.
This can make future interactions and negotiations
This can happen when there are multiple treatments
much more difficult.
or ongoing costs
Yeah.
associated with the case.
So it's about building trust and transparency,
Always,
even in a system that can feel adversarial at times.
double check those payment records before hitting that withdraw button.
And let's not forget the legal ramifications. If you don't properly notify all parties
Another frequent pitfall
about a lien withdrawal,
is messing up the filing process
you could open yourself up to legal action.
if you don't follow
This is why those meticulous records of notifications
the DWC and WCAB guidelines.
so crucial.
Precisely. You could face penalties,
Wow, so there's a lot at stake.
delays,
It sounds like this process
or even have your withdrawal rejected.
can be a bit of a minefield for providers who aren't well versed in the intricacies.
I understand how it can feel overwhelming, but with the right knowledge
That's reassuring to hear.
and procedures in place,
Now, Aisha, before we move on,
it becomes much more manageable.
I'm curious about something.
That's why I'm here,
We've talked a lot about the potential downsides
to empower providers with the information they need
of mishandling lien withdrawals.
to succeed.
But what about the flip side? What does a successful lien withdrawal look like
Excellent
in
question.
practice?
A successful lien withdrawal means
And what are the benefits for providers? You've received full payment for your services,
you get it right.
avoided unnecessary costs and legal headaches,
It's a smooth and efficient process
and maintained positive relationships with everyone involved.
that ultimately benefits everyone involved.
So it's a smooth and efficient process that ultimately benefits everyone involved.
Exactly. And there are even metrics that providers can track
Okay, I love the sound of that.
to ensure their lien withdrawal process
What kind of metrics
is optimized for success.
are we talking about? So it's about efficiency,
One important metric
making sure things are moving along smoothly,
is your timely withdrawal rate.
and you're not letting those liens linger unnecessarily.
This measures how quickly you're withdrawing liens after a case is settled
So it's about maximizing revenue,
or payment is received.
making sure you're not leaving any money on the table due to errors or inefficiencies in the process.
Another key metric is your payment recovery percentage.
So it's about staying on the right side of the law,
This tells you
minimizing the risk of penalties
how much of the total lien amount you're actually recovering.
or legal complications.
And of course, you want to keep a close eye
So it's about being proactive,
on your compliance rate.
addressing any issues quickly and efficiently to minimize disruptions to your practice.
How well you're adhering to those all-important DWC and WCAB guidelines.
This is all incredibly helpful, Aisha. I think our listeners are starting to realize
And finally,
that lien withdrawals aren't just some bureaucratic hurdle
tracking your dispute resolution time is crucial.
overcome,
This is the average time it takes
but a crucial part of managing a thriving practice.
to resolve any lien-related disputes that might arise. By monitoring these metrics, providers can identify areas for improvement and ensure their lien withdrawal process is as streamlined and successful as possible. It really is.
It's about protecting your revenue, maintaining a good reputation, and ultimately, ensuring the smooth operation of your practice. But Aisha, before we wrap up our conversation today, I have one final question for you. With all the chain comp industry, particularly with technology and automation,
And it's something I think about a lot. While I definitely
you see the lien withdrawal process
really will see some changes,
changing significantly in the coming years.
especially as more processes move online and become automated. The fundamental principles we've discussed today will remain crucial.
That's a good point.
Careful review,
It seems like no matter
accurate documentation,
how much technology evolves,
clear communication.
a solid understanding of the process
Those are the cornerstones
and a commitment to those core principles.
of a successful lien withdrawal will always be essential for providers.
Regardless of technological advancements, absolutely, technology can be a fantastic tool
Well said, Aisha.
to streamline things.
This has been
Day errors.
an incredibly insightful conversation. I think our listeners now have
But it's not a replacement
a much clearer understanding of lien withdrawals,
for a thorough understanding of the system
their importance,
and a commitment to doing things the right way.
and the steps they can take to protect their practices.
My pleasure.
And before we sign off,
I'm always happy to share my knowledge.
I want to remind our listeners and help providers navigate this complex world.
That we're always here to support you. If you have any questions,
We love hearing from our listeners.
comments, or even lien-related stories
Yeah.
you'd like to share, don't hesitate to reach out to us. You can find us on our website or wherever you get your podcasts.
But for now, it's time to wrap up this episode of Workers Comp Unwrapped.
Remember,
Until next time,
with the right knowledge and approach,
stay informed, stay compliant,
lien withdrawals can be a smooth and successful process.
and keep those liens in check. We'll see you all next week for another deep dive into a fascinating workers' comp topic. Until then, take care.
It really is.
It's about protecting your revenue, maintaining a good reputation, and ultimately, ensuring the smooth operation of your practice. But Aisha, Before we wrap up our conversation today, I have one final question for you. With all the changes happening in the workers' comp industry,
That's a great question.
particularly with technology and automation,
And it's something.
do you see the lien withdrawal process? I think about a lot.
Changing significantly in the coming years.
Well, I definitely believe we'll see some changes, especially as more processes move online
That's a good point.
and become automated.
It seems like no matter how much
Hmm.
technology evolves,
The fundamental principles we've discussed today
a solid understanding of the process
will remain crucial.
and a commitment to those core principles
Careful review, accurate documentation,
that always be essential for providers.
clear communication. Those are the cornerstones of a successful lien withdrawal.
Yeah.
Regardless of technological advancements, absolutely. Technology can be a fantastic tool
Well said, Aisha.
to streamline things and reduce errors.
This has been an incredibly insightful conversation.
But it's not a
I
replacement
think our listeners now have
for a thorough understanding of the
a
system
much clearer understanding of lien withdrawal,
and a commitment to doing things the right way.
their importance,
Mhm.
and the steps they can take to protect their practices.
My pleasure. I'm always happy to share my knowledge
And before we sign off,
and help providers navigate
I want to remind our listeners
this complex world.
that we're always here to support you. If you have any questions,
We love hearing from our listeners.
comments,
Okay.
or even lien-related stories you'd like to share, don't hesitate to reach out to us. You can find us on our website, social media, or wherever you get your podcasts. But for now, it's time to wrap up
And remember,
this episode of Workers Comp Unwrapped.
with the right knowledge and approach,
Until next time,
lien withdrawals can be a smooth
Enough forward.
and successful process.
stay compliant and keep those liens in check. Great advice, Aisha. We'll see you all next week for another deep dive to a fascinating workers' comp topic. Until then, take care. Thank you for listening to Workers' Comp Unwrapped. If you found value in today's episode, share it with your fellow medical providers and healthcare specialists. For more information, contact us at lena.klein@medicallienmgt.com or visit our website, medicallienmgt.com.